Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tips, tools, and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back, everyone. Today I have guest Bill Heinrich, also known as the Divine Purpose Guy. Bill found success at a very young age, and on the outside, it appeared he had it all, but he still found himself feeling dissatisfied and empty. No matter how much money he made or how successful he became, Bill never felt whole. 30 years ago, he decided to walk away from his life because he was miserable and unfulfilled. Since that time, Bill has gained new perspectives, which in turn have created more opportunities for growth, insight, and wisdom. For more than 12 years, Bill has been working with high-level business executives, teaching them how to live life with passion, purpose, and prosperity. And the results have been astounding. Welcome, Bill. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you very much, Tanya. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you and I are going to talk about living life with purpose, shifting from surviving to thriving. And I've got to say, so this question has pretty much is asked of me with every single client that I see, the question of what is my life purpose? So Bill, how does one find their life purpose? I want to talk about this. You know, what are some blocks to finding it? What are the important steps to finding it? Let's dive into this.
Okay. Where do I start? When I left my life because I was so miserable, I spent probably 6 months wandering aimlessly with just, what am I going to base my life on? And, you know, what do I do from here? And I tripped across metaphysics, and somebody gave me a book and I read it, and one thing led to the other, led to the other, led to the other. And now it's been almost 30 years, and I've spent the entire 30 years researching this and teaching it to people. And, you know, I live a life that's beyond your capacity to understand. Okay. Whenever I work with clients, well, tell me, you know, what are you going to do and how's it going to be? And I said, I have no idea how it's going to be, because when you get your authentic self, we don't know what's going to show up, but I guarantee you one thing, you're going to love it because you know it's you. Okay.
Yeah.
What I have learned, Tanya, all the different resources and information in the clients I work with from all around the world, I give everyone a 100% guarantee on their success, money back. However, what happens is people have to understand that your life purpose isn't about the life we live in the physical. So I'm going to digress, make sure I come back to this. If you have any questions, I can just
No, this is good. This is how I live my life too, Bill. I live a lot in the energetic realm more than I live in the physical. So I like this topic.
Okay. I'm 1,000% in the energetic realm. The physical doesn't matter. Okay. This is the biggest mistake. Everyone, when we're born, we come into life perfect. It's this bundle of energy. We're born, they slap our ass, and everything goes downhill from there. All we're told is no, right?
Yep. You can't do that. You can't get that.
Yeah. It's because everybody's focused on survival. And survival can only take place in our physical life. There's no such thing as survival on the non-physical side. You're aware of that, I know. That's all about thriving. So what do I mean when I say this? We live on Earth, and everybody thinks this is it, yet this isn't even a speck when you look at the total universe. And the universe is in a constant state of motion, of vibration, organic expansion, always moving that way. So we're really out of control. What we need to do is get in energetic alignment with what's going on in the universe and understand that. People are always talking about the law of attraction. They're living it today. What you have in your life today is the manifestation of what's going on inside of you right now. Let me repeat that. It's the physical manifestation of the energy inside of you. So, I mean, I work with people all the time and they're, oh, they did this. It says nobody does anything. Every problem you have is yours. And it has to be that way. If it isn't that way, you become a victim. And the moment you become a victim, you're handing all of your power to someone else.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And they have control over you. So one of the talks I give is on accountability and responsibility. And, you know, people, Tanya, just don't even know how to use the English language, right? They continually use language that doesn't support them. If you look at accountability and responsibility energetically, which one is more powerful?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
I'd say accountability.
Wrong.
Really?
Yeah. Because accountability means you're holding yourself against somebody else's judgment.
Oh, you're holding yourself accountable to someone. Okay. I see where you're coming from. Okay.
The word itself is the tagline for victim.
Interesting. I like that. Okay.
You're putting yourself, what you're doing is taking on an obligation from someone else, and they have a moving target, and they're the ones that are going to decide how they like or don't like whatever's happened when you're accountable to them. So there's no equality. When you look at it from responsibility energetically, I am responsible for everything in my life. Everything, no matter what happens. If I drive down the street, somebody pulls out and hits me, somehow I've called that into my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put myself in the victim position. I'm going to use my power. That's the only way I can use my power. That's the only way I can change things if I own it. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah. And I do a lot of this quantum leaping and timeline transurfing. And so I'll play that in what's coming into my consciousness right now that is playing itself out. And how can I tap into the energetic realms to figure that out and to clear that energy and to shift that energy? Because I think a lot of people don't understand that what's being created in our physical is coming from an energetic, emotional, spiritual, mental standpoint. It's totally
everything
out there.
Everything is coming from three different areas. Everything blocking you in your life. Number one, your family of origin, the things that you were taught that don't serve you, because we were taught the life of survival. We were really taught just backwards, okay? The second thing is there are 38 different life lessons passed, and each of us have a very distinct life lesson. And if you don't know what your life lesson is, then you're running through life with a blindfold on, making decisions based on who you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing whatever you can to survive because nothing makes sense to you. Because the thing people don't realize is when you have life lessons, you have blind spots. So when you have a blind spot, you can't even see it. You are just, like, I work with clients and they're completely numb to it, and it's right in front of them. And when they see it, they just go, oh my God. You know, I mean, it just stuns them. But see, we've come to learn these lessons. So you've got life lessons. And the thing you have to remember in the life lessons is this, okay? Your life lessons aren't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is everyone else in the world has life lessons, and they're running around doing they're all running around doing the same thing.
It was funny. I just did a show yesterday on the art of detachment, and it's like, you got to detach from everybody else's story so you can figure out your own story or your own listen to your own intuition.
Mm-hmm. 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 And the third thing is, when we look at this energy, every one of us came to Earth with 7 divine gifts. We all have the exact same 7 gifts and powers: divine compassion, divine creation, divine order, divine healing, divine authentic self-expression, divine truth, and divine power. We all have these energies running through us, Yet no two people have the same energies. Everybody's levels of energies are different. It is this energy that creates your life purpose. Now, this energy is inside you right now, but you think it's something else. You don't understand it. In fact, this energy, when not used correctly, comes out and creates nothing but pain and heartache for you. And it continues on and on until you understand. So you have to have awareness in those three things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In a basic, overall, simplistic, the first thing that people have to understand is we live in two different dimensions. We live in a physical dimension and a non-physical. The only one that matters is the non-physical, but nobody goes there because they don't know what's there. What will it do to my life? What is happening? They're so busy protecting themselves in their life where they're at, trying to get to death safely. And it just repeats itself. This is why people doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So what questions do you have? That's a quick
No, that's
nutshell.
good. I'm totally resonating with all of this, Bill. I think once you learn that we're multidimensional beings and that we're from the divine, then you can really tap into the energy behind it, and we can shift things in the quantum. That's what I do with my clients. I work in the quantum field. And, when you really begin to work in the quantum, things can happen immediately, and
instantly.
Instantly.
When you work with a vibration, there's no limitation and there's no cap. Anything can happen. And so when you communicate with the universe, you have to communicate energetically. Now, the universe, when you're creating something, this is why I think the law of attraction is funny, okay? Because who wants to attract stuff? I want to just manifest it.
Exactly. I want it to appear.
Yeah, boom, let it happen, right? And here's what's amazing. When you understand how it works, the universe is incapable of not delivering it to you. It must deliver it. Let me repeat that. The universe must deliver it. There's no thought, there's no logic. It's simply a vibration. And when you can demonstrate that you have the energetic foundation, there it is. I have a young man in my group coaching, okay? Started out in financial services, insurance industry a year and a half ago. Okay, that's a tough start.
He's already programmed.
To get built up, to get right? He shows up in group coaching one day saying, I'm going to buy this house. And I was like, good, that's wonderful. What's up with it? He said, well, I don't have any money. I said, well, that doesn't matter. You can still buy it. You know what to do. If you follow the guidelines, everything will be fine. He said, well, I'm going to talk to a mortgage person. So he went and met with mortgage people, got them information. It took them less than 6 seconds to turn him down. Well, he doesn't have any resources. He followed these guidelines, went to the owner of the house and said, look, I can't get the mortgage. Here's 3 other options. I don't know what your interest is. This is your house. But look at those. One of them, I can still purchase the house. There's a way that I can do it. Okay, this guy, he's 24 years old.
Oh, wow.
Right? The owner called him back the next day and said, let's go meet with my attorney. No money. He got this house. He showed up at group coaching and told us that this is like a miracle. But the truth of the matter is, when you work energetically with an intention of owning a home, and you start be responsible and take the steps and the actions, detachment's key.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a mature path to follow, which is indicative of what's inside this young man, and the way that he did it and the way that he followed it and the lessons that he learned from it were amazing. were amazing. And now he's got this great house. And now, of course, when you buy your first house, he's like, oh God, am I in over my head? You know, all of that stuff. So many good. I mean, I have so many like that. Because my whole focus is, how do you live with extreme happiness? That's it.
Mhm.
I believe there is a heaven and hell, and I believe we're experiencing it here on earth.
Yeah, I agree. And it's all through our thoughts and our energy and where we're
That's
focusing.
it.
Mhm.
That's it. In fact, when we're done, I have a free book download for your guests if they'd like it. It's called Clarity Has No Story.
Yeah, let's talk about that book, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I also wrote The 7 Levels of Truth. This is everything I use in my coaching practice. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to my website and order one directly from me signed. It's everything that I use with clients, everything anyone needs. The 7 Levels of Truth, again, is on Amazon. The other book, Clarity Has No Story, is self-explanatory. People live in their stories. They spend their day protecting their stories. Everything's centered around the stories. Everything's centered around making sure they get their expectations and what's driving them inside. But when you examine language, you'll notice there is non-physical language and there is physical language. Mm-hmm. Okay? What's the difference between the two? The difference between the two is, with non-physical language, you cannot describe what it will look like in the physical because there are billions of options. How's that?
Options, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Literally. So let me give you an example. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a word. You tell me what it looks like.
What it looks like. Okay.
Well, this is where everybody gets stuck. They get stuck in the physical. Which of these is non-physical? Money or abundance?
Abundance.
What does abundance look like?
Happiness and joy to me. Prosperity.
It's a state of being.
A state of being. Okay.
It means I have time abundance. It means I have social abundance. I have abundance in every area of my life. I just have to allow it in. When you talk about abundance, people always think about money.
They do.
And you want to know something? When you do a gratitude list, money won't be on it. It won't be there. Abundance will, but money won't.
Uh-huh. No, you're right. And I've had these conversations with some guests about how, and I've done that. Many people will focus on, they're like, okay, I want a new car. Okay, I need to manifest the money to get the new car. No, you don't. You can go straight for the car. It's like, take out the middleman, take out the money and go straight for what you desire.
you used a word that I don't allow my clients to use, and that word is want.
Want. Okay.
that word, it has been expelled from my dictionary. A number of them have, right? That's what they do. I want this. So what they do is they put themselves in a state of wanting attached to something in the physical.
And because they're looking at the lack.
Wanting is a state of being. You live in a state of want.
Yeah.
When you live in manifestation, you center your energy and you take actions, small actions, get more clarity, hold your intentions. My intentions are never about what it's going to look like in the physical. My intentions are about how it's going to feel when I stand on a stage in front of 10,000 people and change their lives in just minutes. I know how that feels. It's going to happen. There's no question. No question whatsoever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's more, but it's the energetic value of it. And you're right. So one of the things I teach people in that respect is never use the word want. I'm in the process of creating.
I am in the process of. Oh, okay.
So what are you in the process of creating?
Right now, a very prosperous podcast.
Yeah. And I'm in the process of creating a big speaking tour. Okay. See, when you say I'm in the process of creating it, you can own it. Do you
And
notice
there's
how that
movement
feels?
there. There's movement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's ownership, there's energy, there's trust, everything. It's just in the language. And I can go on and on. It's no one will ever remember what you said, but they're always going to remember how you,
Made them feel. Mhm.
hello.
It's true.
How many people know that quote?
Probably 95% of the population. Or they've heard it to one extent.
And they're missing out on the fact that it's only how you feel, and it's only the energetic relationship that you have with another that's going to be meaningful. It's just energy. People use their heads and they don't realize your head is your enemy. Your head, well, it's only going to protect you. It's only going to give you information from your past experience. It's tied to your ego, and it's tied to the stories inside you that have been blocking you, standing in your way, and holding you back. So the thing that stops everybody in wanting to get a new car is the how.
Yeah. You're correct. Yeah.
How stops you dead in your tracks. Where is how? Physical or non-physical?
Non-physical.
No, it's physical.
Okay. So the how is physical, but the feeling is the energetic feeling of it, just having faith that it's manifesting.
Trust, just trusting.
Trust. Okay.
Yeah. There's a big difference between, I'm sorry, I'm just a stickler on words. Let me tell you the difference
Okay.
between
No, this
faith
is
and
great.
trust.
I like this.
Okay,
It's
great.
helping me and it's going to help my listeners.
Great. Just imagine you're standing, watching a man up on a high wire. He's 100 feet in the air, and he's going to walk across 80 feet of high wire, 100 feet in the air, pushing a wheelbarrow. And off he goes. He gets in the middle, and everybody's on the ground watching. Everybody has all the faith in the world he'll make it to the other side. Trust is riding in the wheelbarrow.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Yes. I feel the difference.
It isn't, oh, everything will be fine. No, it's climbing in and sitting in the wheelbarrow and let him push you across the high wire. That's trust. That's the difference between those two.
Okay. I love that clarification. That's what we need, because I work a lot with the emotions, and I know there's different frequencies and vibrations for, say, hate and love and whatnot. And you can feel that within your body, those different emotions.
Well,
so
of course.
That we
Sure.
feel into our body what these words feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's so much information of it, so much of it, like muscle testing. There's so many things available to us. You can go in the grocery store and muscle test food to see if it's good for you. The energy will tell. I mean, it's like the resources that the universe has given us, and it's like they're running down to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee and just too busy to stop. And what do you mean a miracle? I got to get my Slurpee and I'm going to the casino, whatever. I mean, it's just, they're just trying to get by, from the suffering. Because in the physical, the best you can get out of life is uncertainty, pain, and work.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And ain't nobody got time for that, Bill. Like, who wants that?
But that's life in the physical.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Now, when you infuse this and start looking at how the universe operates, it negates all of that. This becomes, to me, this is just like a big soap opera.
It's a movie. I call it a movie every day. I'm like, okay, how am I going to change my movie today? What's going on? How can I shift it in the energetic realm so I can change my movie? Because this movie isn't working out for me right now.
You get to create anything you desire, right? It's all through conscious choice, and everything that you do, Tanya, is either taking you closer to your soul or away from it.
Mhm.
It's one or the other. Okay. We weren't sent here to struggle. Our birthright is abundance, joy, love, and freedom. All the rest of this is just an illusion. And the more you understand that and the more you can see it, the easier it makes life and the easier it becomes to detach, to have compassion, to not think, well, I've got to solve this. I have to take care of this, just to move through life loving way. And as you work with energy, as you understand, we do things with energy in our daily lives. That's wild. It's just wild what we create in our daily lives. The people that I work with, it's amazing. I'm a business coach. I don't need to give them business information, because when you understand yourself energetically, you know what to do. Isn't that
Yeah.
correct, Tanya?
When you're aligned, whoo, does it feel good? Yeah.
We run into things we don't know the answer to, but we don't struggle with it in the physical. We chill out.
Mm-hmm. That's where the law of detachment comes in, or the art of detachment. When you detach from what other, that people pleasing or what you think others think you should be doing, then wow, is that freeing, And you talk about that detachment and how important that is, especially when you are manifesting.
Well, it's important all the time, because if you're not detached, give it love, let it have love, detach, and just let the universal energy work with it. Just let it work, and just keep infusing the energy. You infuse the energy in your intentions with every thought, word, and action.
Yeah.
That's what infuses it. None of this is real. Everything's a vibration. There's no separation. There's no separation. Everything's a vibration. That's what runs everything. When you're coming from a good vibration, you're going to attract good things, and you can't create this vibration intellectually. You have to choose it. You have to choose to come from a place of love.
Yeah.
When you choose to come from a place of love, you connect with your heart and you can start moving your energy. When you're in the physical, that's shut down. Completely shut down.
It is. I mean, that's how, Jesus walked on water. That's how Moses parted the seas. I mean, a lot of it is just, I think people get caught up in their belief systems and they limit themselves, and I see that a lot with my clients. And it's like, even when you say the sky's the limit, the sky is not the limit. It's infinite. You can do anything, you can do anything. You can create anything.
You can create anything that you desire. Absolutely. So it takes some unlearning. However, the great thing is, none of this, it isn't a 30-day process. Okay. Your life, will change. With me, after the second meeting with clients, their life has changed, and we are running full steam, and they're like, oh my God, then they come back and I just help them with their language, give them language that supports their energy, show them how they're doing things that are blocking their energy, show them what perceptions aren't supporting them energetically. We look at their lessons. We understand the penalties of their divine gifts. One of the gifts I've been given is I'm able to do a meditation and give a person their energetic DNA, and it changes their life. Well, it changes their life like that because they can feel the difference in the energy when I explain to them what they have, and they're like, oh my God. Like, honestly, people just start buzzing because out of those
their
7
DNA
gifts
is resetting. Yeah.
well, it's taking them from their confusion to who they truly are. And they get that energy and they're just like, I don't know what this is, but I want to hang on to this forever.
It feels good. Yeah.
And it's like, Tanya, let me tell you what it is. It's you. That's what it is.
I know
It's
everybody's like,
you.
we look at superheroes like they're these, phenomenal beings when really we are the superheroes. This is our natural divinity, is that we can have these abilities. We do have these abilities. And
They're in us now. You
yeah,
have it all right now. All you're doing is letting everything else interrupt it
yeah, you're right.
because you're just so fixed on survival. In fact, I'd mentioned my book, Clarity Has No Story, A Shaman's Guide to Mastering the Law of Attraction. It's about how clarity has no story. Listen to that. When you have clarity, there's no story. When people are telling stories, they're seeking approval. They're seeking approval from other people. Okay. I'm not seeking any approval from you in what I'm speaking about because I know it to be true. And frankly, I don't care what you or anybody else thinks about it because I know this is 1000% true. Right.
Yeah.
So I can speak with clarity, never looking for approval. I don't need it. Like, people either get this or they don't.
Yeah.
It's real simple. And if the time isn't right, they need to move on down the road. So, and in that book, I talk about how to manifest and do things. But anyways, if any of your listeners want the book, they can go to my free book
Mhm.
dot me, M-E,
Okay.
myfreebook.me, and they can get a electronic download of Clarity Has No Story, and they'll find it. It's pretty fascinating. Yeah, I'm just getting in the process, starting to write another book just on energy.
Oh, good. Good.
So can explain it, but there's no reason to suffer. Suffering is a choice.
You're right. And I have a unique, story about stories. I do a lot of, I cross over energies, earthbound spirits. Oftentimes this was what I was guided to do. And I was working at a home and they asked me to come and cleanse it because they thought it was haunted or whatnot. And I actually went into the home and I started to communicate with the earthbound spirits. And I asked them if they wanted to be crossed over, to the light. And they said yes. And I said, well, why are you here? What is it that you're here for? And this was an old museum. And they said, it's because everyone keeps telling my story. It's anchoring me to the physical realm. And I'm like, whoa, so our stories can actually anchor non-physical energies to this
Totally.
realm as well. And so that's my
Sure.
unique story about stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's what I would suggest to anyone is you have to have some understanding of metaphysics, of the non-physical. However, once you get that, go back and look and you'll see what we were taught wasn't correct. It wasn't correct. And I had a real difficulty as a child because of my wisdom and my knowing. And it's like, life made no sense to me. I'm looking at, what are these people? They're going to work. They're doing, this is not, like, it made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't fit in because energetically it made no sense. So I ended up having to rebel. It took me, this is what caused me to walk away from my life, 30 years later. Was it just the misery? The inner knowing was, now I know that it was chaos. It was confusion. It was judgment, blame, shame, guilt,
Restriction. Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. Now I do what I want, where I want, when I want, with who I want it, anytime I want. I mean, it's like I have that freedom now. That may sound a little crazy, but it isn't. I'm fully responsible for the choices that I make. But we literally have that freedom. And if we will let everything flow, and you get into the flow, boom, stuff just lands. It just comes in and lands. And people are like, how did that happen? It's like, well, energetically, right? They
I trusted
picked up on
it. I trusted that it would.
Yeah. Because when you work with energy, it's easy to do. Isn't that right?
Yeah. And it's
just a
that
vibration.
focused intention. Yeah.
It's just a vibration. In fact, what I teach people is this, is there's really only one thing in life that's true, Tanya. Only one thing. Okay? Everything you see is an illusion.
Yeah.
It's an illusion.
Even this background I have right now, Bill, is an illusion.
Right. Everything's an illusion because it's your perception, and everybody has different perceptions. Totally different perceptions, different life lessons, different divine gifts, different astrological charts. I mean, there's just so many things that affect this, right? But there's one thing that's always true, and you'll never be wrong, and that's how you feel. Is the only thing that's true. But that feeling is a vibration. And if you don't feel good and you're angry, you can change that vibration, because how you feel is true, but the story that created it inside of you is no longer true. So you have to source that energy back to the story that doesn't serve you anymore.
And transmute it.
And if you, right. And then make different choices.
Yep.
It's another thing.
It's like shifting your momentum in a different direction.
You're actually going the opposite way. You're flipping the energy.
Yeah.
You're flipping the switch. In fact, one of the other things I teach my clients right up front is I do not let them use want, probably, maybe, or decisions. No decisions. Never make another decision again in your life. Ever. Like, what do you mean?
Choice the same as a decision?
No, ma'am. There you
Okay.
go. You just knocked it out of the park. What's the difference?
Intention, right?
No?
No? Action?
Well, choice is obviously more supportive of an intention. Okay? No. Decision comes from the root Latin word for decision, means final.
Oh.
Why do decisions create stress and overwhelm?
Because you're not going with the flow, I guess, right?
No, because it's a decision. I got to make this decision. When I make it,
final.
Yeah. How many times have you seen people do that? They do it every day.
Yeah.
Just make a choice. And then change it if you don't like it.
It reminds me of those old books, Mad Libs. I don't know if you remember those, but you'd read the story and you'd put in the words, and you could go back and erase the word and put in a different word, and it would take you on a different path. And so I look at life that way. It's like Mad Libs.
Oh, absolutely. You're 100% correct.
We can change our choice at any moment.
Yeah. It's all about how you feel, and it's all about the energy that you bring to every moment in your life. And for me, that energy is one of love, to be of service for the benefit of all involved. That's all. And so many things get taken care of without my involvement anymore. Right?
And it makes life more fruitful. I really do feel that way.
Oh my God.
I live like you. I am not attached to anything. It's like I go with the flow. Every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm not like a kite in a hurricane, but I'm more focused intention. Okay, I'd like to experience this today. Show me how that feels. Allow me to feel that, and wow, when that happens, it's like life is so much more exciting.
It's, as you're creating life, if you're creating something and you know what it looks like, run from it. Okay? What you want is to see the energy of it and do everything you can to enhance that. And so whatever then shows up in the physical is going to be astounding. It's going to be astounding. But what people are doing, they just want to be loved. They want approval. They're protecting where they're at. They're in a job. They're stuck there. They've got this, and we've got kids, and we've got this, and that. All the stories of survival. Survival is suffering. You're either surviving or you're thriving. And when you thrive, then you only work with energetic qualities. And as you do that, and that's my expertise, is not only showing people what their energy is, their divine energy is, because when they get it, it blows them away. They're like, oh my God, right? Like, for instance, I'll give you an
And
example.
we're only feeling a little bit of that too.
Oh, yeah.
That can fit in our little avatar that we have here.
A minuscule amount.
Yeah.
And the reason it's a minuscule amount is because they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the energies is divine order. These are people that bring harmony, balance, beauty, everything like that into the physical. But people with divine order get stuck because they have such an high energetic value of this balance. The moment there's conflict, they run the other way.
Uh-huh.
They do it in their heads, but what they don't realize is this energy, if somebody's upset with them, like, they'll do whatever to keep people happy because it affects them physically. They're looking at it intellectually, but what's actually happening is it's affecting them physically, and they don't have any choice when, in fact, in that confrontation, if they would step in with their harmony, balance, and love and say, I certainly understand how you feel that way. Here's another way it can get resolved, or we can do whatever. What do you think? You transcend the whole situation like that.
Totally, because you're shifting the program, you're changing the program. You're making a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we're all living in the matrix. We're living in a matrix, whether we're transcending, we can shift that and do something different. Do something different. I think most of us are so stuck on the same routine, the same autopilot.
It's survival.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the truth of the matter is nobody knows what the hell's going on.
That way.
They have no idea. They just is it the Webb telescope now they've sent out? And they're just seeing, they're getting back like all these the universe is infinite. This Webb telescope is like a billion light years out there, something like that.
Oh, man.
Right? Now, a light year is the amount of time it takes light to travel the sun, right? Is that correct? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
You're asking me some galactic.
And well, you're the one into quantum physics. So
no, quantum field, quantum physics.
Oh, quantum field. Oh, well, you should be quantum physics too.
I know some quantum physics, entanglement.
Yeah. Name association.
You asked me about light years. I don't know. I'll have to consult my galactic guidance team on that one.
But so they sent this telescope out, and it's like I don't know. It's close to some phenomenal millions, hundreds of millions of light years out there. Okay, a light year travels at 56,000 miles a second.
Oh, wow.
Now think about that. That's how far they are out there, and they're just learning new things. Everybody's sitting here like, well, I've got this figured out. Yeah, I know what's going on. It's like, and we're just missing the spectacle of who the hell ever created this. And what's happening?
Many haven't even figured out we're living in a matrix and this is all an illusion. Let alone grasping that concept,
Yeah. And then people show up all uptight about this or that or the other thing. And it's like, let go.
I know. It's like the microcosm to the macrocosm. That's why it's like you take our problems and they're so minuscule. They seem so big. It's like when you go back to primary school when you were like 6 and you go back as an adult, all your issues in primary school seem so big because you were a kid, but now you go back as an adult and the toilets are little and the sinks are short and the walls are little and you're looking at it from a more expanded consciousness and so it's just funny when you go back to things as a child and take a look at it, you're like, okay, it's not as big as it was now. So we've really got to take a look at that in perspective that Our problem may seem really big right now, but we've got to zoom out and take a look at it from a bigger
you don't even have a
perspective.
problem. What you have is an interruption.
An interruption.
You have disruption or interruption. You're the only one that can make it a problem. If that's to choose.
Yeah, no, it's an obstacle, right? You're like,
it.
here, I'm gonna.
It's not an obstacle. I heard there's a phenomenal psychiatrist talk one time, and he said, "Let me tell you what good mental health is. We're gonna nail it right now so everybody knows." He said, "Here it is. It's getting past your current challenge with a full understanding that another one's waiting."
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
That's life. That's life in the physical.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason their challenges and their problems is because of our perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I never have problems. I get lessons. I learn a lot of lessons. I go, oh, this is a good lesson. This is good. Like I'll own it.
Like, bring it on.
Well, it's like, the other thing is that people really get confused with, Tanya, is life is only a search for clarity. Like you and I are sitting here right now, and I'm not sure where you're located. I'm in California. And here it is. It's a day. It's early afternoon. We have an idea of what we're going to be doing. But the fact of the matter is it isn't going to happen. Things are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
This is the nature of life because it's the nature of the universe. The nature of the universe is organic expansion. So that expansion can come in negative or a positive way. It's your choice. That's right. How do you want to participate?
Yeah.
How do you want to participate? If anybody wants more information about me, my website is truelifepurposenow.com. You can get the free book, Clarity Has No Story, by going to myfreebook.me, M-E, myfreebook.me. And the 7 Levels of Truth is available on Amazon, or you can go to my website and order a copy directly from me, which I'll be happy to sign for you.
Great. Well, thank you, Bill. Thanks for coming on the show today. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm going to take some of the things that you taught me, and I'm definitely going to create.
Yeah. These little nuances make a big difference, Tanya.
They really do.
Because you can see, like, you recognize that energetic difference, like between accountability and responsibility. You'll never forget that.
I'll never and faith and trust. I mean, I feel like those are things that those are going to sit with me now, and I am going to feel into those. And I love that because those are, I think we're all learning on this journey, and those are 2 tools that you just taught me today that I was unaware of. So thank you for that.
Well, this has really been fun, Tanya. I've really appreciated it.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate you coming on the show. You deserve to navigate your life in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.theexistentialempath.com.